My wife said another man's name during intimacy, then told me to get over it. So I did. I'm still processing what happened 3 nights ago, and I honestly don't know if I handled this right or if I'm completely losing my mind. My wife Lauren and I have been married for 7 years, together for 10. We have 2 kids, ages 7 and 5. We live in a small town in the Colorado mountains where everyone knows everyone. Up until Tuesday night, people probably would have called us the most stable couple on our street. We inherited this house from my dad when he passed 5 years ago, and we've put a lot of work into making it ours. Lauren teaches at the local high school. I'm an electrical engineer for a renewable energy company based out of Denver. Normal life, you know. School pickups, soccer practice, Sunday dinners with her mom. Tuesday night, the kids were at my mom's place for a sleepover. We don't get alone time often, so we were being intimate, everything normal, until she said a name in my ear that made my entire body go cold. Dylan. Not Evan. Dylan. I froze mid-movement, and for exactly 2 seconds I watched her eyes go wide with the kind of panic that told me this wasn't a slip of the tongue. This was a truth that just escaped. Then her whole face just went blank and cold. I asked her what the hell that was about. Her response was, "It happens. People say the wrong name in bed all the time. Get over it." Not "I'm sorry." Not "oh my God, I don't know why I said that." Just, "Get over it." For context, Dylan is her ex-boyfriend. He still lives here in town, works at the hardware store. I've run into him maybe a dozen times over the years. Always cordial, never weird. I genuinely thought that was ancient history. Apparently I was wrong. I didn't yell, I didn't argue, I just got up, got dressed, and went downstairs. She followed me asking what I was doing, saying I was being dramatic. I told her I needed to think. She rolled her eyes, actually rolled her eyes, and went back upstairs. Here's where I might be the asshole. I started packing up all of Lauren's stuff. Not throwing it around or breaking anything, just methodically putting her clothes, toiletries, everything into boxes and bags. When she woke up the next morning around 7 a.m., she got dressed and left for work like nothing had happened. The second her car pulled out of the driveway, I called my buddy Mark. He's a locksmith. Woke him up early and asked him to come over immediately. Mark showed up around 9 a.m. and changed all the locks while I continued packing. Took me until early afternoon to get everything sorted. I loaded all her stuff into my truck, drove it to Dylan's house at 412 Maple Street and left everything on his front porch. Then I texted Lauren, "Your things are at 412 Maple Street. The locks have been changed. I'll communicate about the kids through text only." I picked up the kids from my mom's, told them Mom was staying with a friend for a bit because we needed some space. They're young enough that they just accepted it. She tried coming home after work. That's when she discovered the changed locks. She's been texting me nonstop since then. Left crying voicemails, pounding on the door. I haven't responded to any of it except to confirm pickup times for when she wants to see the kids. My mom thinks I went too far. My sister says Lauren's reaction was the real tell and I did the right thing. My coworker said I should have at least talked to her first. Reddit, did I overreact? Part of me wonders if I just blew up my entire family over something that could have been explained. The other part of me keeps hearing "get over it" in that cold voice and knows something was really, really wrong. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. We've built a whole life together. Our kids love her, but I can't get that moment out of my head. Edit. Some of you are asking about Dylan. Yes, he's definitely aware she's married. They both still have mutual friends here in town. And yes, I realize I should probably talk to a lawyer. I've been trying to avoid that reality. To clarify, since some people are asking, I didn't take the kids away from her. She's seen them twice since this happened. I'm not trying to keep them from their mother. I'm just trying to protect myself and figure out what the hell is actually going on. Update 1. I wasn't going to post again, but enough people asked for an update, and honestly, writing the first post helped me process things. So here goes. First off, I did talk to a lawyer. His name is Phil. First thing he said was document everything. So I started keeping a detailed log of every interaction, every text, every time Lauren picked up or dropped off the kids. For about a week after my first post, things were relatively quiet. Lauren kept texting me asking to talk in person. I kept refusing. She'd show up at the house when she thought I'd be home from work, but I'd started staying later at the office and not answering the door. But that was pretty much it. Then 2 weeks ago, I got a message from someone I barely know, Nicole. She's one of Lauren's friends from her book club, and we'd maybe spoken 10 words to each other over the years. The message said, "I'm sorry to do this, but you need to see what's been happening." She sent me screenshots, dozens of them, text messages between Lauren and Dylan going back 6 months. 6 months. I'm not going to detail everything because reading it once was enough to make me feel sick. But the summary is this: they'd been meeting up regularly. Coffee, lunches, quick stops at his apartment. The messages were intimate in a way that made it crystal clear this wasn't just some emotional affair. This had been physical for a while, but here's the part that really got me. In one exchange from about 2 months ago, Dylan asked Lauren when she was going to finally do it. She responded, "I need to wait until after Maya starts kindergarten full-time. By then, I'll have been the primary caregiver for years with both kids in school. That's when I file and push for primary custody so I can get a bigger settlement to maintain the kids' lifestyle. And Evan's too nice to fight dirty." I sat in my truck in the work parking lot for an hour after reading those messages. 10 years. We'd been together for 10 years. And she was messaging her ex-boyfriend about the best way to financially screw me over in a divorce. I forwarded everything to Phil immediately. He said it was unfortunately common but excellent evidence. Here's where it gets messy. Dylan's girlfriend Rachel apparently found the messages too. According to Nicole, Rachel kicked him out hard. Like, threw his stuff onto the front lawn in the middle of the night, kind of kicked out. Small-town gossip travels fast, and by morning everyone knew. So now both Dylan and Lauren were scrambling. Lauren showed up at my house the next morning, banging on the door, screaming that I'd ruined her life. I didn't open the door, but I did record the audio from inside. She was saying things like, "You had no right to share private messages, and you turned everyone against me." I texted back, "You told me to get over it. I did." The funny thing is, I didn't share those messages with anyone except my lawyer. Nicole did that on her own. Apparently, she'd been uncomfortable with Lauren's behavior for months, and when Lauren started telling people that I was having some kind of breakdown, Nicole decided enough was enough. Small-town life, man. You can't keep secrets for long. Pastor Henry from the community church called me. I'm not even particularly religious, but Lauren was involved in the choir and some volunteer stuff there. He said several people had reached out concerned about her accusations about me, and he wanted to hear my side. I gave him a very abbreviated version. He sighed and said, "I'm sorry, Evan. I've known you both for years, and I've never seen you be anything but patient and kind. I'll pray for your family." That actually meant something coming from him. My boss, Mr. Keller, pulled me aside yesterday. Someone had apparently sent an email to the company HR claiming I was unstable and potentially dangerous. He showed me the email. It was from an anonymous account, but the writing style was definitely Lauren's. He told me not to worry about it, that he'd known me for 8 years and my work spoke for itself, but to keep him updated if things escalated. The kids are handling this better than I expected, though my daughter asked me last night why mommy is sad all the time now. That one hurt. I told her that sometimes grown-ups go through hard times, but that both mommy and daddy love her very much. She seemed satisfied with that. Lauren's mother, Nora, called me. That was awkward. She started off defending Lauren, saying there must be some misunderstanding. I didn't give her details, just said that Lauren and I were working through some issues and I'd appreciate privacy. She got quiet and then said, "Lauren has always had a way of rewriting history to suit her needs. I'd hoped she'd outgrown it." That was all she said. Then she hung up. I'm still thinking about that comment. Phil is moving forward with divorce proceedings. Lauren got her own lawyer, Amanda something. They're pushing for marriage counseling and a pause on everything. Phil says that's standard stalling behavior when someone realizes they're not going to get what they want. I'm not interested in counseling. I keep thinking about that night, her cold eyes telling me to get over it. Even if the affair hadn't been going on for months, even if it had been a one-time mistake, that response told me everything I needed to know about where I stood in her priorities. People keep asking me if I'm angry. Honestly, I'm more sad than angry. I'm sad for my kids. I'm sad that the woman I thought I knew turned out to be someone completely different. I'm sad that I wasted years building a life with someone who was planning an exit strategy, but I'm also relieved. Is that weird? I'm relieved that I trusted my gut when she told me to get over it, because my gut was screaming that something was deeply wrong. Next update will hopefully be after we've made some progress with the lawyers. This process is going to take months, apparently. Edit. Someone asked about Mark, the locksmith friend. Yeah, he's been great through all this. He and his wife have had me over for dinner a few times. It's nice to have people who don't expect me to fall apart or immediately start dating or whatever. They just let me be. Update 2, I'm back, and I wish I could say things have calmed down. They haven't. The last update was 3 weeks ago. Since then, it's been a steady escalation of crazy that I genuinely didn't see coming. I thought we'd hit peak drama. I was wrong. So, after I dropped Lauren's stuff at Dylan's place that first night, she apparently stayed at a motel for a few days while trying to figure things out. Then once Dylan got kicked out by Rachel and found his own apartment, Lauren moved in with him there for about 4 days before they realized they wanted different things. Translation: reality didn't match the fantasy they'd built up over 6 months of sneaking around. Dylan, by the way, left town entirely, according to the town gossip chain. Rachel's doing fine from what I hear. She's been getting a lot of support from the community, which is more than Lauren's getting. Lauren started posting on Facebook. Nothing directly about me at first, just vague things like when you realize who people really are, and sometimes the ones we trust the most hurt us the deepest. Classic stuff. I didn't respond, didn't even react to the posts. Then she started getting more specific. Posted about how she was fighting for her children against a vindictive ex, and how some men use their children as weapons. She claimed I was keeping the kids from her out of spite. For the record, I have not kept the kids from her. She has a standing agreement through our lawyers that she can see them every Tuesday and Thursday evening and every other weekend. She's the one who's canceled 3 times in the last 2 weeks because she couldn't handle seeing them right now. My daughter asked me why mommy doesn't come anymore. I'm running out of gentle ways to explain this. Last Monday, I was working late at the office. Got home around 8 p.m., kids were with my mom again. When I pulled into the driveway, I noticed something on the garage door. Someone had spray-painted "Coward" in huge red letters across the entire door. I sat in my truck for a minute just staring at it. Then I got out, walked around the house checking for any other damage. Nothing else. Just that one word. I called the cops. Officer Martinez came out. I've known him for years. Our kids played soccer together. He took photos, took my statement. I told him I didn't know who did it, but I had suspicions. He nodded like he already knew exactly who I was talking about. Then he pointed to my neighbor's house. The Hendersons have a camera that points toward the street. Might have caught something, sure enough. The Hendersons pulled up their footage and there's Lauren, clear as day, at 3 a.m. on Monday morning, spray painting my garage. She's wearing a hoodie, but she looks directly at the camera at one point, so there's no question it's her. Martinez filed a report for criminal mischief. He said he had to, given that we had clear evidence. He looked genuinely sorry about it. Lauren's lawyer called Phil the next day, furious, claiming I'd set her up and that I was pushing her to a breaking point on purpose. Phil just said, "Your client vandalized his property. We have video evidence. This isn't a negotiation." The emergency hearing was yesterday at the county courthouse in Aspen County. Both lawyers, me, Lauren, and a judge who looked extremely tired of everyone's bullshit. Phil presented everything. The text messages showing the affair and the financial planning, the video footage of the vandalism, and the log I'd been keeping of every canceled visit with the kids. Lauren's lawyer tried to paint me as controlling and cold, said that Lauren's behavior was the result of emotional distress caused by my sudden abandonment. The judge listened to everything, asked Lauren directly if she had anything to say. She started crying, said she'd made mistakes but she loved her children and just wanted her family back. The judge's expression didn't change. Then he asked her about the spray paint. She claimed she didn't remember doing it, that she'd been in a fugue state from stress. The judge literally pulled out the video still that showed her face clearly, looked at her and said, "You're telling me you don't remember this?" She broke down completely. Started sobbing about how I destroyed her reputation, turned everyone against her, made her lose everything. The judge let her finish, then said, "Mrs. Carter, you conducted an affair for 6 months, planned to strategically divorce your husband for financial gain, and when confronted, you vandalized his property. Your reputation destroyed itself. He granted me temporary full custody. Lauren gets supervised visitation only, once a week for 2 hours, at a family center with a court-appointed supervisor present. She's also required to pay for the supervision fees and to reimburse me for the garage repairs. Her requests for me to pay spousal support and to give her half the house were denied." The judge said those issues would be revisited at the final divorce hearing, but given the documented affair and her recent behavior, he was not optimistic about her claims. Lauren didn't say a word as we left the courthouse. Her lawyer looked like she wanted to quit on the spot. Phil told me afterward that this was one of the cleaner cases he'd handled in terms of evidence, but that I should expect Lauren to escalate before she finally accepts reality. He said people who have built up a narrative in their heads don't let it go easily. I asked him what kind of escalation to expect. He said probably more social media posts, maybe attempts to contact me through friends or family, possibly more property damage. He advised me to get a security camera system, which I'm installing this weekend. The kids don't know about any of this. As far as they're concerned, Mommy is busy with work and they'll see her soon. My daughter is starting to act out a little, more tantrums, more clingy. I've got her scheduled with a child therapist next week. My son is quieter than usual but seems okay. I repainted the garage yesterday. Took 3 coats to cover the red. While I was doing it, a few neighbors came by. Mrs. Henderson brought me lemonade and told me the whole street was behind me. Mr. Jameson from 2 doors down said if I needed anything, just knock. It's weird how this has brought out different sides of people. Some folks I thought were friends have gone completely silent. Others I barely knew have shown up with casseroles and offers to help. I'm tired. I'm tired of lawyers and court dates and explaining to my kids why everything is different now. I'm tired of being the bad guy in Lauren's Facebook posts while trying to be the good guy in real life. But I'm still relieved I found out the truth. Even with all this chaos, I'm still glad I didn't wait around for her to execute her plan on her timeline. The divorce should be finalized in about 2 months if everything goes smoothly. Phil says it probably won't go smoothly. I believe him. Edit. Someone asked if Lauren showed up to her first supervised visit. Yes, she did. The supervisor's report said she spent most of the 2 hours crying and asking the kids if they missed her. My daughter told me afterward that Mommy seemed sad but we played dolls. I don't think Lauren's grasping that she needs to make those 2 hours about the kids, not about her feelings. But that's not my problem to fix anymore. Final update. This is my last update because honestly, there's not much drama left to report. Just life moving forward, which I guess is its own kind of resolution. The divorce was finalized last month. I have full physical and legal custody of both kids. Lauren has unsupervised visitation now, every other weekend and 1 evening a week. She's been mostly consistent with it, though she canceled twice last month. She pays child support, which is automatically deducted from her teaching salary. I kept the house. She kept her car and her personal belongings. We split our savings account 50-50, which wasn't much anyway. The judge ordered that she'd get no spousal support given the circumstances of the affair and her behavior during the separation. Her lawyer tried to argue about it, but it didn't go anywhere. Lauren moved to a smaller apartment on the other side of town, closer to the high school. From what the kids tell me, it's fairly bare bones, a 2-bedroom with basic furniture. She doesn't talk to me beyond logistics about pickups and drop-offs. We use a parenting app that time stamps everything. It's cold and transactional, which is honestly a relief after months of drama. Dylan never came back to town. I heard through the grapevine that he's working construction somewhere near Laramie. Rachel started dating someone new, a guy who teaches at the community college. Saw them at the farmer's market a few weeks ago. They looked happy. Nicole, the friend who sent me those screenshots, stopped by about a month ago. She apologized for not saying something sooner. I told her she'd done more than enough and I was grateful. She said Lauren hasn't spoken to her since everything came out. Most of their friend group sided with Nicole once the full story got around. Both kids are in therapy now. My daughter's tantrums have mostly stopped, though she still asks occasionally when things will go back to normal. My son opened up to his therapist about feeling angry at his mom, which was hard to hear but apparently healthy. Their therapist says they're processing everything appropriately for their ages. I'm okay. Some days are better than others. I've started rock climbing again, something I used to do before kids and marriage and responsibilities took over. There's a good climbing gym about 40 minutes away, and I go every Saturday morning while the kids are at my mom's. About a month ago, a woman named Andrea started at my company. She's a project coordinator. We got coffee a couple times just talking about work stuff at first. She's smart, straightforward, and she laughs at my terrible engineering jokes. Then one day she just casually asked if I wanted to check out this new brewery that opened downtown. I said yes. It's early, like extremely early. We've been on maybe 4 dates. She knows I'm divorced and have kids, knows it's recent. She's not pushing for anything serious. Honestly, I don't know if I'm ready for anything serious, but it's nice to remember that not everyone has an agenda. Some people are just nice. If it goes somewhere, great. If it doesn't, I'll be fine. For the first time in years, I'm not building my happiness on someone else's foundation. My sister visited last weekend. We were sitting on the back deck while the kids played in the yard, and she asked me if I regretted how I handled everything. If I wished I'd tried to work it out, gone to counseling, given Lauren a second chance. I thought about it for a while before answering. Then I said, she told me to get over it. The problem was never that she said his name. The problem was that she didn't care that she'd hurt me. And if someone tells you your pain doesn't matter, you should believe them. My sister nodded and didn't say anything else about it. I don't hate Lauren. I don't wish bad things on her. I hope she figures her life out for the kids' sake. But I'm not sad anymore either. I'm not spending my nights wondering what I could have done differently or how I missed the signs. I did everything right according to who I am. I was faithful, present, and honest. The failure wasn't mine. My daughter asked me last night if I was happy. I told her I was working on it. She said, "That's okay, Daddy, me too. I think we're going to be just fine." To everyone who commented on my original posts, who shared their own stories, who told me to trust my gut, thank you. I came here feeling crazy and left knowing I wasn't.